touch base with the management of CG Consumer. They're eyeing adjacencies and open to acquisitions at this point, which we discussed with the management. And their sales CAGR growth is expected to be 14% from FY18 to FY20 in that period. Matthew Job, who's CEO of Crompton Greaves Consumer Electricals, joins us with a better understanding of how business is shaping up. Matthew, it's great to have you on the show. Thanks very much for taking out the time. We understand that the strategy for differentiated products in air coolers and water heaters will be implemented in the near term. Tell us about the strategy in place and what is the outlook for differentiated products.
So I think, Crompton has always been strong on technology, strong on engineering. I think one of the things we have tried to do in the last couple of years is to bring the consumer at the heart of the innovation journey. Basically trying to understand for all the categories that we are playing in, some key consumer pain points, and then use the technology and the engineering strength that we have to design and deliver propositions that will allow us to address these consumer pain points in a superior way. I think 2 years back we launched the anti-dust fans, 18 months back we launched anti-dust fans, which is again, based on the consumer understanding of wanting to keep fans clean, not wanting to clean the fans in a very, every 3 months or 45 days. So we designed a product, a proposition, and then brought it to market, which address this in a superior way. And I think our results over the last 18 months, where we have significantly grown our fans market share on the back of the performance anti-dust fans, is a classic example. And today, we, as a question, if we spoke about coolers, we have today launched TriCool, India's first real window cooler. Again, it's based on the consumer insight. The consumer knows and believes that a cooler, actually installed outside the room, actually delivers better cooling comfort. But a lot of the consumers have the problem that they either don't have a balcony or don't have enough space in the balcony. Maybe if they have 3 rooms, they only have balcony in 1 room, that they are actually having to make the compromise by using a plastic cooler which is kept inside the room, although they understand it delivers less cooling compared to a cooler kept outside, the balcony or outside the window. So based on this consumer insight, we have designed and brought to market TriCool, which is India's first real window cooler. So it's a cooler which is very similar to like a window AC. It can be installed on the window and actually delivers on an average 60% better cooling than a normal plastic cooler kept inside the room. So it's again based on the consumer insight that a cooler kept outside actually delivers better cooling, but most people don't have the ability or the possibility to have a cooler in the balcony just because of the fact they don't have a balcony or don't have a balcony in all the rooms. So based on that, we have designed and brought this product to market and actually launched it today here in Mumbai.
Okay, we understand that the company continues to look into adjacencies and is open to acquisitions. Tell us if you have initiated talks with any company so far.
So I think our take is in terms of existing categories or in new categories. I think our take on it is we want to play in those categories and we want to ensure that in every category we play in, we are able to have a reasonable market position, and a reasonable market position defined as being either a top 2, top 3 player, or at least have a 10% market share. And I think the reason we say that is because we find that in every industry, almost 75 to 80% of the value is actually, between the top 4 or 5 players, because players below that really don't create too much value. And that's how we said, for every category that we are in or we want to be in, we must definitely be or achieve that position in the foreseeable future. I think we are very open to doing it the organic way or the inorganic route. But for every acquisition, obviously there must be a willing seller, a willing buyer, and then of course all the terms and conditions have to meet. So I think as I mentioned, we are quite open to looking at acquisitions, provided it's in a category it's in a category where we think we can become a reasonable sized player in the foreseeable future.
Okay, but what about premiumization? Because that in fans continues to work really well for the company, as we understand, and you've got a sales growth of about 28% year-on-year in the 3rd quarter. Tell us what's the outlook of premium fans in the overall revenue in the segment, and what are your growth plans going forward?
I think like a couple of years back we said we started at a situation when we were 2 years back, roughly 7% of our revenue in fans used to come from premium fans, and we had set a target for ourselves that in 3 years we would take that number up to 15%. If you see the the data up to quarter 3 of the October-December quarter, which is the quarter till which we declared results, I think we have managed to bring that number up to almost 20%. And most of it, of course, has been on the back of a strong innovation which we had primarily, which is anti-dust fans. So I think we feel that the possibility exists to drive the premium contribution up further. Because if you ask me, the anti-dust itself, while we have had very good success with it, we still think that it has still a lot of legs left. So we still think the premium contribution can continue to improve, and it can continue to drive our market share growth, in the time to come.
Okay. Matthew, your lighting segment as well clocked a very strong growth, which was largely led by LEDs, as we understand. Will LED then continue to drive the lighting segment sales, and will you continue to hold your market share there?
I think, you see, LED, like 2 years back, we said the company will shift its entire focus solely on LED lighting. And I think, the switch to LED for the industry itself has been quite dramatic, and I think that the trend is likely to continue with LED technology offering all the benefits you can dream about. I think this trend of further shift to LED lighting will continue.
Right. After seeing slow growth in domestic pumps due to significant competition from mid and low tier players, do you see launching mini crest pumps and reducing prices, that strategy working?
See, I think it's still early days. It's still early days for me to comment anything. I think the real results of whether it's working or not working will only be seen 6 months from now. So I think it's too early for me to comment on this.
With all the growth drivers in place, analysts are working with a compounded annual growth rate of 14% over the course of the next 2 years. Is that a fair number to go by with?
See, of course, I do not want to give any guidance, forward-looking guidance. I can only tell that, which we consistently maintained in the past, our objective is threefold. One, to grow our revenues faster than the market, to grow our profits at least in line with sales, and to convert 100% of our profits to cash. If you look at all the quarters where we have declared results, typically with the exception of the demonetization and the GST quarter, our best estimate is that the market has been growing 6 to 8%. Per annum. And if you look at all the quarters where we have declared results, again with the exception of those 2 quarters, we have delivered growth between 11 to 12%. So we have always managed in these quarters to deliver a growth that has been significantly faster than the market. I do not want to give any guidance for the period forward.
Okay. Thanks very much for joining us, Matthew, and giving us that perspective of those insights on your growth strategy.